Have you ever heard of that show Columbo? He was a private detective, and a lot of the scenes in this, he's walking out the door, and the per bad guy thinks the case is closed, but Columbo turns around and says, "Just one more question." That's you when you're buying a business. So let's make this real. Picture this: a 25-year-old HVAC company doing 2.5 million in revenue, claiming 450K in cash flow. Looks solid. Local name, owner retiring, broker says it's a can't miss. But the only thing you're actually buying is cash flow. And you'd better know if the seller's turning assets into real cash flow or it's just a show. Would you buy this HVAC company if it landed on your desk tomorrow, knowing what you know now? Comment down below on this one. Hi, I'm John Stoddard from DealFlowSystem.net. I've helped buyers close 33 million in deals and raise 50 million in funding. If you're working full time and just want to buy a business without wasting years on junk deals, you should hit that subscribe button and watch this video. Today, the questions that reveal what's really going on before you buy. Part 1, cracking the financial code. Here's the part most people miss. You should ask the seller, well, beyond the P&L, what's really hiding on the balance sheet? So why are you asking this? Because you want to find out about hidden leases, any hidden guarantees, tax liens, or clawback clauses can hit your cash on day one, even if they're invisible on the earnings. In our HVAC example, let's say the broker shows a neat P&L, but the fine print reveals deferred maintenance contracts and a 200K vendor clawback clause if sales dip. Hidden in the footnote. That one clause alone could wipe out your first year profits. So, gut reaction now. Good deal or bad deal? Put your comments down below. So ask the seller this: how reliable are those revenue streams? Why are you asking this? Because banks, investors, and you need predictable cash flow, not phantom sales. So also ask, is debt propping up sales? And why are you asking that? Because in an asset sale, you don't buy the debt, but you do inherit the risk of a collapsing house of cards. Jim Rohn would say, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into somebody else's. Same with deals. If you don't design your own questions, you'll fall into the seller's story. Like, knowing what you know now and saying there's debt on the deal, would you buy this business? Put your comment down below. Part 2, unveiling the operational truths. Let me give you another angle here. You should ask the seller, what's the churn rate and lifetime value of that customer? Why? Why are you asking the seller that? Because reoccurring revenue multiplies your valuation, but churn actually kills it. Warren Buffett said, the best business is a royalty on growth of others. That's only true if customers stay. Our HVAC shop shows steady revenue, but 70% of the cash flow is from one-time installs, residentials, let's say. No reoccurring service agreements. Once an install stops, cash flow dies. All right, here's another question that asked the seller. What's employee stability and turnover like? Why are you asking him that? Because if one key tech leaves after closing, your cash flow might walk out the door with them. All right, here's another question to ask. Are there single points of failure in the supply chain? And of course, we know that, why we're asking that, because one weak link, one supplier, one plant, one piece of equipment can stop revenue overnight. Like, we are all familiar with buying products from China and then COVID happened. That's a black swan event, and it happened. I once saw a company where 90% of inventory come from one small plant in China. COVID happened, and the game was over. I saw that on X. Part 3, navigating legal and regulatory minefields. Here's another part most first-time buyers miss. Again, you should be asking the sellers questions like, are all licenses, permits, and certifications current? And the reason you're asking that is because losing one can shut down your operation immediately, right after you buy. Also, here's another question. Are there any pending lawsuits or hidden contractual obligations? And why are you asking that? because they could become your problem the day you close, even if the seller caused them. So back to that HVAC company's website. It looks great, but do they have current HVAC contractor licenses in every municipality, or any pending lawsuits from installations, or a customer contract with a poison pill clause? A friend of mine once evaluated a food distributor. Looked great until we found an OSHA claim and a lapsed food handling license. That one thing would have shut down the business after close. Let me ask you, and you could comment. What's the one red flag here that would make you walk away instantly? Comment down below. Tony Robbins says the quality of your life is the quality of your questions. Same for deals. The quality of your deal is the quality of your due diligence. All right. Part 4, assessing market position and growth potential. I want you to think about this for a second and ask the seller, what truly differentiates this business from your competitors? And wait for his answer. Don't try to fill it in. Ask it more. And the reason we're asking that is because if the advantage isn't sustainable, you're buying today's profits, but tomorrow's losses. Ray Dalio talks about looking at the machine of the economy. You've got to look at the machine of this business. What makes the bell ring? So picture this. Fast forward 3 years. What would success look like if you owned this company? Comment down below. All right, here's another question to ask the seller. What's the industry trend here? Any disruptors on the horizon? Why are we asking that? Because you don't want to buy a Blockbuster or in a Netflix world, or, like I create content in an AI world. Ask, what's the scalability path? And the reason you're asking that is because the right acquisition should create optionality in new markets, in new products, new geographies. I had a student who bought a company with one product but unlimited potential. He passed on the safe catering business. Now he's scaling nationwide. Part 5, the owner's exit strategy and transition. Finally, ask, why is the owner selling? Ask him directly. The reason you want to know this is because you want to try to find out the hidden motives, like burnout or retirement or looming lawsuits or customer attrition that he just can't figure out, or something that signals risk. If you saw this HVAC deal, would you rather get a lower price with tougher terms, or a higher price with seller financing? Comment down below. Also, another question to ask, what level of support and training will the seller provide? Why are you asking that? Because post-acquisition training can make or break your first year. You're going to make a lot of dumb rookie mistakes, and it's great to have an advisor there if he's built a business over 40 years. Here's another question to ask the seller. Which key relationships are tied to the current owner? You want to try to find out why this is, because if relationships don't transfer to you, the new owner, your revenue might leave with the seller. Back to that HVAC example. Let's say the seller swears his biggest commercial client will stay. We call the client during our 90-day LOI period, and the client says, we're out the minute he's gone. Because maybe they stayed with them for loyalty. I don't know. That deal saved by one phone call. What would you want to hear from the seller to feel confident signing that LOI knowing that? Comment down below. Okay, a couple practical applications. Here's how the big companies use this, and how you can too, buying first-time buyers, SMBs. They run playbooks. They have a 90-day, here's what we do next playbook, and it's like a checklist. They know the questions in advance, so should you. Make a checklist of financial, operational, legal, market, and transition questions. Don't rely on memory. Use your own Columbo moment at the end of every seller meeting. Just ask one more questions, and don't be afraid about asking those. Brian Tracy said, the ability to ask the right question is more than half the battle of finding the answer. Don't buy a business without half the battle won. All right, if you found this video useful, smash that subscribe button. And if you're serious about buying your first business, I can help. head over to dealflowsystem.net. That's where I show you how to find, fund, and close your first business the right way. I'm John Stoddard. I'll see you on the next one.